welcome to Easy Fishing. Well, there's been a real hard frost last night. It's about 1 degree at the moment. My local canals are frozen, so fishing is out of the question. So today I bought a 19-pound whatever it was fishing rod off eBay. 13'4" surf, and to go with it I bought a very cheap fixed spool, £27.50 I think it was. And after I'd bought it, I read some of the comments on eBay. Most of them were quite complimentary. One of them said it was an absolutely rubbish rod and wouldn't cast more than 3 ounces. So today, here we have a 5-ounce lead, 60-pound chock leader, 15-pound mainline, and let's give it a bash. I'm on a big open space, no people around, quite safe. I'm going to have to detach the microphone because it won't reach. So here we go. Just put the microphone down, I'll pull it out to its furthest extent. Put it down on the ground. I intend to perform a couple of basic casts. One, a beginner's overhead thump, which is how most people cast wrongly, though that might be, and a couple of off-grounders. One of them will be of the Brighton bash variety, so here we go. My finger still came off because I didn't have it attached properly. I better go and find that. Good cast though. And I've got a line counter. I'm going to put that on it and see how many feet that measures up to. Well, the line counter decided to only work intermittently, and I paced that one out in good long strides at 95 yards. And that was just with an overhead thump and a 5-ounce lead. So there's a dog walker in the distance, so I'll give it a couple of minutes till he's out of range, because when you're doing this sort of thing on an open space, you've got to make sure there's nobody within like 500 yards of you really. So I'll be back in a minute and I'll perform slightly elongated off the ground cast, which, if my casting is okay, should go a bit further. But I'm not feeling very well today. As you can hear, my breathing is bad. So as a first cast, 95 yards, that's not bad. It's more than adequate for a beginner. This cast I shall use a leader drop of about 7 feet, and I'll fire it off the ground. So, here we go. Well, that one went a bit further, so I'm just going to go and paste that one out. Well, bit out of breath after the walk, because that one I paced out at 120 yards. And now I should perform what I call a Brighton bash. High inertia cast, easy cast, call it what you will, Unitech. The rod is not particularly suited for this because it's got a fairly soft tip. So I won't be really steaming into the cast, but so far so good. In fact, very pleasing. Well, the Brighton cast still went over 100 yards without any particular effort, and here we have a 5-ounce lead that's been well and truly buried, I would say, to nearly twice its depth on landing. Now, the whole point of doing this video was twofold. One, to show people who watch my guide to beach fishing part 1, where I just demonstrate what tackle you need to get started from the beach for beginners, and 2, to answer a critic of this rod. After I bought the rod on eBay, one of the keyboard warriors said, oh, it couldn't cast more than 3 ounces, it was too floppy. Well, you've just seen now that is not true, and that's only a very basic cast. Now, I dare say if you've got a much better caster than me, and I can hit a fairly consistent 140, maybe 150 yards, depends on the day for me. I'm not the most consistent caster, and I'm certainly not a tournament one. My personal best measured is only a fraction over 190 yards, and I nearly ripped my back apart doing that because my technique is not all that great. But there you go. Now, I dare say someone like John Holden or Richard Holgate, any decent beach caster who's better than me, would probably get, I would reckon, about 140 yards out of this, and for £19.50 you can't complain. Buy with confidence. £19.50. It's not a Ziplex, it's not a Century, it's definitely not a pendulum casting rod. What it is a parabolic action rod, which makes it great to cast. No tear on your back muscles, easy to master and get a reasonable distance. Now, if you can hit 120 yards with this with a plain lead, I guess with, say, a baited paternoster, you're probably talking about 9,500 yards, I guess, because you lose quite a lot. Hope you enjoyed this. And Thanks for watching from Easy Fishing, and I'll catch you all later, hopefully on the canal or riverbank when the temperature rises a bit, because the canal was frozen. So there we go, and hopefully I'll get on the beach soon when my health settles down a little bit and I can afford the trip, because I just splashed out on an exhaust for the car after I went over a vicious speed hump. So thanks from Easy Fishing for watching, and I hope to catch up with you all very soon. Tight lines.